Hello, welcome to Aquaback Live. I am Kanchan Verma, and today in this episode, we will be taking you to yet another great place of the world. And to talk about this wonderful place, we have a great guest, Mr. Srivastava, who is a traveler, who is also a broadcaster and an IT professional. So let's welcome him. Hello, Sitesh. How are you doing today?
हेलो कंचन। किया तबाह तो दिल्ली ने भी बहुत बिस्मिल, मगर खुदा की कसम लखनऊ ने लूट लिया।
अरे वाह भाई वाह।
हिंदुस्तान का शहर लखनऊ हिंदुस्तान का नवाबी हिस्सा है। यहाँ की हर दो दीवार नायाबी किस्सा है। कैसी हो कंचन? हाउ आर यू?
I am fine, and I am so glued to this discussion today because Lucknow is a very wonderful city because there are so many cultures, so many streams, so many things which are associated with Lucknow. So I would like to know why Lucknow, which is the capital of Uttar Pradesh, is the capital of Uttar Pradesh. Why it is so important?
One thing is very clear from Lucknow's positioning in the map of India. It is close to Delhi, and it is close to the political decision making for thousands of years. In the ancient times, it was said to be gifted by Lord Rama to his brother Lakshmana. So from Lakshman we get the name. And in the modern times, from the Delhi Sultanate, it was from the Delhi Sultanate. It was under the Delhi Sultanate. Then it became independent, and then it became a part of Mughal Sultanate, Mughal Emperor. It became a province. In those days, it was called a Suba. And then when we see the British, adventures in that region, which is called as Awadh, that's where Lucknow gets modern Nawabs and the Nawabiyat culture, and the birthplace of Ganga Jamuni Tehzeeb, the confluence of Ganga and Jamuna cultures together, and simultaneously ruled by the Hindu and the Muslim rulers during the British times. Finally, British annexed it. It was also one of the major cities of the 1857 uprising, Sepoy Mutiny. And it is also very important to note that the Lucknow as a city was also instrumental in some of the pivotal moments in the India's modern history, where Pandit Jawaharlal and Mahatma Gandhi and Muhammad Ali Jinnah, they came together. And, the Naram Dal and the Garam Dal, they actually met in the Lucknow session of Congress, and they designed for a plan for an independent India. So, yeah, I mean, Lucknow is a city, and you can see behind, it's an image of a Bhul Bhulaiya behind me, and it shows it as a layers. And this city can only be discovered through the layers.
Well, as you just mentioned that this is a city which is Ganga Jamuni Tehzeeb, and I think that is kind of a mixture of two cultures, and you mentioned Hindu and Muslim. So one which I want to ask you, so only these two religions are the prominent in the development of Lucknow culture? And second, what is the influence of all these cultures in the art and architecture of Lucknow, and buildings and in the monuments which are currently situated in the city?
Kanchan, this is a multicultural city. As I said, the confluence of the Ganga Jamuni Tehzeeb. It is known for its courtly manners, beautiful gardens, poetry, music, architecture. Talking about the architecture, in the modern Indian context, from 1700 onwards, during the time of Nawabs, we see a lot of monuments here with Mughal architecture, Indo-Mughal architecture, like Imam Bada, Bhul Bhulaiya, Imam Bada. The central hall is said to be the largest vaulted chamber in the world, and for the galleries, only the woodwork of the entire structure is believed to be construction of this grand building was started somewhere in 1785, and visitors are strictly advised to take official guides to enter into this. Shahi Bauli is another attraction here. There is a grand Asafi mosque is here, and that is Bada Imam Bada. Then we have something which is called clock tower or Ghanta Ghar, as it is popularly known across the northern India. So, Hussainabad clock tower is a clock tower in the city, and it was built by, around 1881 by Nawab Nasiruddin. And, and that time it is very strange to know that it costed only around 1.75 lakhs of rupees. And then we have also very important, aspect of one place called British Residency. And that British Residency was the, important landmark during the 1857 uprising, where almost like 3,000 British inhabitants took shelter during that time. And interestingly, Begum Hazrat Mahal, one of the wife of the last ruler Wajid Ali Shah, she was holding fort in 1857, and she gave shelter and strategic places to the rebellion, and she is known for this. And therefore, Chota Imam Bada, Rumi Gate, Ghanta Ghar, there are lots of astronomy building. Some was also constructed by one of the Nawabs. Is actually a wonderful place for the historians as well as the architectural students alike.
You just mentioned about Wajid Ali Shah, and I'm sure without I will not be able to continue this show without mentioning at least 2-3 lines about this wonderful Nawab of Lucknow. So, do you know about this Nawab? And I think he has contributed a lot when we talk about cultures and music of India. So, would you like to share some ideas about this particular Nawab, Wajid Ali Shah?
Well, Kanchan, my earliest memory of Wajid Ali Shah goes to a movie from Satyajit Ray, Shatranj Ke, which I have seen a long back, and on Doordarshan, when Doordarshan came, started doing the color, positioning. The television in the color television India came to India, and I had seen Shatranj Ke Khiladi, which is loosely based on the story of Wajid Ali Shah, who is shown as great patron of the arts and lots of buildings and monuments and cultural advancement of the Awadh region and the Lucknow as particular. But at the same time, that movie also shows that how he kept on waiting for the British to actually finally annex the Awadh from him, Wajid Ali Shah. So one side, he is basically credited with the pinnacle of the Lucknowi tehzeeb or Lucknowi culture as such, but it was Wajid Ali Shah who actually gave it away to the British, and it was annexed, and he was sent to a virtual, prison in near Calcutta, and where he spent last of his lives. And while he was sent to Calcutta, it was one of Hazrat Mahal who took over in 1856, and she helped our 1857 rebellion. So yeah, thanks to that movie of Satyajit Ray that I got to know my first inkling about Wajid Ali Shah.
Well, I just want to add here that Wazid Ali Shah is responsible for creating Thumri, Babul Mora, Nahir Chuto Jai. This is something which is very popular and it's been included in many of the Indian movies. So definitely, I mean, we have to really maybe do a show on Wazid Ali Shah, the contribution of Wazid Ali Shah in the music industry and music domain. Going forward, I would like to ask you now, Lucknow, definitely, it has lot of parameters and it's a vast city. And there are many type of people. As you mentioned, this is a cosmopolitan place. So, how this city becomes a cosmopolitan, how this demography of this particular city emerged as today we see?
So I would like to answer this by one another, Urdu couplet or sher. मासूम सी सुबह हसीन सी शाम होती है, यह लखनऊ है, यहाँ अदब सी रात होती है. So Lucknow is about its people. It is about its culture. It's about its confluence, and it is also steeped very, very deep into our modern Indian history and also ancient times. This city, the people, the moment you land in Lucknow, you start feeling that aroma of Lucknowi tehzeeb, Lucknowi culture, Lucknowi food, and the famous tagline Kanchan, मुस्कुराइए आप लखनऊ में हैं. That the hallmark of this city and this people. And what to say about the food? We all know about the Malihabad Dasheri mangoes. We know about the kebabs. We know about its Awadhi cuisine, Mughlai cuisine, and kormas, and Nahari kulchas. And many chefs in India and abroad have made their names on of the Awadhi cuisine that they serve. So, I mean, where to start about Lucknow and where to end about it? I mean, you talk about chicken curry, chicken embroidery. You talk about zari and zardozi work. At the the modern Lucknow is also about software companies, Hindustan Aeronautics, Tata Marco Polo. It's a bus and a coach company. A lot of colleges and institutions. Our famous IIM, Lucknow, and other La Martiniere College. And interestingly, I also learned, Kanchan, that Lucknow is actually one of the very famous bicycle-friendly cities of Uttar Pradesh. And it is taking its inspiration from Amsterdam. So, which is so interesting to know, the first city probably I am seeing about being so bicycle-friendly. And this is very, very interesting. And I mean, not to take away any credit of the lots of famous people, especially, the Urdu poets, Josh Malihabad, Kumar Barabankui, and many others, in Bollywood, Naushad Sahab, and many others in the Bollywood have actually donned the name from Lucknow. And let's not forget Kanchan, the mesmerizing but fictional but mesmerizing Umrao Jan.
Well, Lucknow definitely is such a vast thought process, if I can say, that it's difficult to really touch every point when we're talking about such a wonderful city of the world. But what are the places one can visit? Maybe suppose if I make a plan for a week. So what those crucial places that is must when you are going to visit Lucknow city?
Yes. So Kanchan, as you know me, being a history buff, I start looking from a city from the precincts of the modern history, modern historical vendor places, modern monuments. Also, I also always go and see the ancient places just to stand there and feel how the city would have been in its glorious days. And as you see in the video, the various images behind me, and these are some of the images where I have stood there and I have just thought about the place the Lucknow brings in the Indian parlance, in the modern and the ancient history. So you can visit, Bada Imam Bada, Chota Imam Bada. You can also visit the astronomy center. You can visit, some modern places as well. There are, it has been a really coming up city with lots of modern, urban sites, which makes it almost look like any other foreign city in parts of the town. But the reality of this place, the reality of this place is in its infancy, is in its, what you say, exotic nature of people. People you will still find, reciting Urdu poetry, and there are a lot of Kavi Sammelans, a lot of cultural activities that happen, and and politically it is also very sensitive, Kanchan. It is as we know, capital of Uttar Pradesh, just around 500 kilometers from New Delhi. So it definitely is a great political center of modern India. uh, this city is also something which you must try to see this city while you are having its food. You can't separate the food, the culture, and the couture. So the dressings, the food, and the city visit, all of these things combined makes a very very remarkable and cherished time in Lucknow. So please take a holiday season and go for at least 1 week to enjoy the city, and with the help of whatever guides you would like to use, like Lonely Planet or something else.
Well, as you mentioned, cuisine. So, what cuisine really you like, so that you can guide the viewers if they really want to, for vegetarians especially, because that is sometimes become challenge in many of the countries. I mean, outside the India. But I'm talking about Lucknow. So, what is that you really prefer that they should ask for when they are in Lucknow?
Well, Kanchan, this is all about Awadhi cuisine. This is all about the special cuisine of Uttar Pradesh, and especially about the Awadhi cuisine. And therefore, there were the royal bawarchis or chefs, or there were rakabdars, who were the royal chef. There was Awadhi cuisine that was developed by them. And, as I said, kebabs, kormas, nahari kulcha, zarda, shirmal, rumali rotis, biryanis, and one of the very famous and actually legendary is the tunde kebab, that is known not only in India but across the world. And because it is part of Uttar Pradesh, there is absolutely no challenge about the vegetarian food. And one specific thing about one special way of biryani is also known as tehri. It's a very specialized way of making. I can say it's like a semi biryani. It's a tehri, and that can be a vegetarian version as well as the non-vegetarian. And then street foods, chats, kulfi. Shirmal is a type of a sweet bread. Makhan malai is another famous sweet delicacy. It is only sold during the winters. And there has been a legend about that. When I think one of the Nawabs, probably it was Wajid Ali Shah, he became sick of the tobacco addiction, those were the days of hookahs, and the hakims or the veds, or you can say the doctors of those days, advised him not to touch the tobacco, and how to do that for an addicted Nawab. And I then, some sweets were developed in the shape of pan. So lai makhan or some of the pans, they were actually sweets made in the pan format so that the Nawab can eat it and feel. That became a hallmark of the Lucknowi food. And across the country, you sometimes nowadays, I being in Bangalore and other cities, sometimes chefs organize Awadhi cuisine festival time in the big hotels, restaurants.
So, lastly, I would like to ask you, what do you really think when we talk about Lucknow in one or two sentences? What do you really feel that Lucknow is equal to that, and it is the place, and no other place is equal to Lucknow?
Well, Kanchan, this city, as I have stressed, is a city of modern India where the modern India was shaped. Fall, which led to the fall of the British in India in 1947 and the Congress session. Ram Prasad Bismil, our great freedom fighter, who was a part, who was put on to trial for the Kakori conspiracy. That was in Lucknow. He was later charged and hanged in Gorakhpur prison. So this city is a very, very fascinating city, modern city. But this city's originality is in its sophistication, the polished attitude, the polished language. Pehle that is the hallmark of this city. And all I can tell you, Kanchan, while we are at the end of our show, that मैंने मोहब्बत की दुनिया नहीं देखी है, मगर लखनऊ सा शहर देखा है. That's all I can tell you, Kanchan.
As usual, it is so wonderful to talk to you, Sitesh. We'll be meeting again with some other city. Till then, bye-bye and you take care.
Thank you, Kanchan. Have a lovely day ahead.